Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SB Reviews, where today we have ourselves an album called Innovations of Grave Perversity by Eric Terino. And if we switch over to here, we got an album with 8 tracks on Spotify. We've got Felt, Torture the Dead, A Snowfall at Dusk, Invocations, Boulder, and Augury of Hope, Body Gets Stoned, and I Didn't Live There. My understanding is that there is a vocalist named Jolie Holland who does some work on some of these tracks. I know that she's on Body Gets Stoned as well. So we're going to listen through each of these tracks from start to finish. And here we think this is Eric Terino's third album, as I understand it. So yeah, let's go. Oh, okay. And we'll go back a little bit more. Sweet. There we go. Oh, straight in with the vocals and the organ.
I just haven't found a way to articulate it clearly.
It is very, very warm with this organ and his higher range voice there. It's been recorded well, used a good microphone for it. The production sounds clear as well.
I've been jailed in the arms of men, confined by the shelter they lent, impaled in their basements, hollowed out and primed again. I wish to say
Before we go into this next section, I'm liking the gradual and subtle addition of elements to the mix. Like you've got some strings in there and you've got some woodwind instruments as well. It's a nice touch. We're still trying to keep the focal point on the vocals, but we're also developing the main theme that was instantiated at the beginning.
I tried my best so I could put this thing to bed, but all I pray is not to die alone.
To pray to not die alone. That's a hell of a way to start an album, isn't it?
I've been leaning on the edge again. I'm still falling for the wrong man. I've been thinking about everything I felt.
Not wanting to fall for the wrong man again. Thinking about what I felt and sort of trying to take stead of where we are emotionally and perhaps existentially. It's an interesting track so far. We've got a similar texture to the vocals throughout this track, except we've obviously got the double tracking going on in this part. I'm liking how all this carries without... I mean, we've got the percussive string bits. With those staccato-y bits going on. That helps to provide a groove to it. I'll change in the rhythm of those as well.
To feel like I was loved, but nothing ever measures up in this well that I've dug.
Nice to hear him in his lower range as well. Gives you an indication of his vocal range.
Lately it seems the world curves it I'm losing faith in men more often. Winds twist will that leave me when I'm dead? Will they say I was mad? I've wished to say
You know, finding peace within anonymity, but praying not to die alone. Yeah, how do you find a compromise between those two?
From the whole of it, it's been more painful than I can admit. I can't fathom how I must have felt. So let's just say I gave it all that I could, and that's enough to get me through another lonely day. Today,
Eric Terino immediately gives the indication, or the indication that he's got some internal struggles that he deals with. You know, it kind of sounds like he's questioning his self-worth and whether he even deserves to be happy. The strings make a lot of sense with this. There's a complexity to the harmony, but we never really enter any truly major sections. Always revolving around those minor triads and intervals there.
to the past again.
Even here, it is just this sense of
I've been drowning
it's beautiful.
in everything I felt. If I ever find a way.
That was a nice little triplet run that we had going up there, that ascending melody. It was a nice way to split it up.
To get out of my head, I'll be saved. If I ever find a way, I'll be saved. I'll be saved.
Those clashy parts are interesting. I haven't really heard anything like Eric Terino before. This is a unique experience for me. That's an immediate plus. That's a pretty big plus, you know, to have. There might be a lot of musicians that do stuff similar to Eric Terino that I haven't heard before, but this is my first impression with his style. I've listened to sort of the classical elements, music similar to this classically, but to have a pure focus on, especially in this day and age when a lot of people are sort of reverting to more synthetic elements, even in rock and metal and other genres that are typically analog. It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. I'm sorry to hear that Eric is going through this, but at the same time, it makes for incredible music. It was nice to hear him in that lower register at the end, wondering if he could be saved. Kind of sounds like he's coming back down to earth after thinking, being in his head the whole time, you know. We got Torch of the Dead, track number 2, though. That was a great first song there. See what this one's like. That is a interesting piano tone there. Oh, is that a cello? What low string is that? I'm liking that we're repeating this piano melody, this piano line here. It loops nicely. It kind of goes back into itself at the end and allows you to revert back to the beginning. And it allows for development and alterations with the other instruments and vocal melodies within the mix. Although Eric is experienced enough and smart enough to know not to go too wild with that freedom, he balances the expectations of the listener with his own creative flexibility well.
Muffled sounds on streets lined with lights, where men let you drown so they can survive.
To let you drown so they can survive. Damn, man. Solid run there, man.
So sad. It can kill the dying and torture the dead.
Love can torture the dead. Damn, dude. Yeah, because what regrets have you left behind, right? Oof. Oof.
Space in between the half and the whole. A parasitic dream.
A parasitic dream.
Palatial minds, a flash against night.
The really quick playing on that lower string section induces this really kind of awful tension. Not awful as in I think it sounds bad and shouldn't be included, but awful as in it really makes you feel uncomfortable. It sounds like it's grinding away at you, you know? That's a really cool inclusion there. I know I've had it before, but yeah. Music isn't necessarily meant to be comfortable. You can make music whatever you want it to be, you know?
Love can be so beautiful and so sad. It can kill the dying.
It's kind of cool that we have that bluesish pentatonic run there. Now that would be the blues scale, wouldn't it? On that "Kill the Dying," it's such a bluesy kind of thing to talk about. I suppose it's a nice touch, you know.
And torture the
Before we continue, I should note that Eric had help from other musicians around the world to put little elements and instrumental inclusions into his album here, which is kind of cool. A lot of musicians I work with nowadays work with international singer-songwriters and creators and stuff, and they have these wonderful fusions of the different styles, and it's really cool that Eric and other musicians make the most of the technology available to put their music to the next level. Not that I think Eric necessarily needs outside help to create fantastic music, because this sounds incredible so far. But it's just knowing as well what Eric knows what he wants and he knows how to get it. And I have a lot of respect for that.
heart may stall in solitary lands. Allow it to keep mending, for life lies ahead.
I like this. We've got a similar textural and stylistic consistency to the earlier one felt. So there's a connection with those two tracks across this album. I'm not sure if these reverb chains and the mistiness of it are a signature thing that Eric does alongside the really soft, near falsetto head voice parts, but it's working. It's working for him. Well done. Yeah, that's pretty deep, meaningful, and it's I was gonna say relatable. I think I know people who have actually died of heartache. You know, it actually does have medical implications for people. People don't really cope well with it, especially as they get older. But even at a young age, you know, it really messes with you. Two really well thought out, well written, well structured, and well performed tracks. 2 for 2, man. We're gonna Snowfall at Dusk though, track number 3. Oh, okay, this is a little bit more perky, is it? Cool. Where are we going with this though? It's kind of fun, isn't it?
I crawl through the sinking sun
Alright.
and seep into the night.
I genuinely don't know where we're going with this, and I love it.
And I can feel a storm rising.
It kind of reminds me a lot of the, you know, like I play video games occasionally. It reminds me a lot of the music you hear when it is snowing and you see snow falling on the screen. It's beautiful music, really pretty. Those little tingy kind of sounds like that on these sounds like a music box or something like that. But oh no, those would be string plucks, wouldn't they? No, it's a harp. I'm so silly. That's a harp, isn't it? It's a harp. Yeah, there we go. I finally got there. That harp. It does sound like snowflakes. Oh, harp harmonies.
A parapet, touching the axon of a latent wish. I tremble still when I think of that. The moment I found out what I am.
Like a flute or an oboe or something like that.
After you've known love, you can never go back.
Yeah, it was nice to have that melodic inclusion on the left side. There was a different texture to the vocals in the center. It was a nice break between those. They acted as a pseudo bridge joint. It was an instrumental part. It was an instrumental break, wasn't it?
And the heart never blooms when there's snow on its tracks. We were soft and unafraid, huddled in rapturous youth. Every moment squalling through led us closer to the truth.
I'm assuming when they go close to the truth, they may have lost their innocence. You know what I mean? By the way, nice inclusion of the lower bass strings there. The boof. It was more of a percussive element there on the whole notes, and it just filled in that lower frequency range for the way that we really don't have at this point in time. It's nice and airy and fluffy, and I dig it. But it's nice to have that balanced sound occasionally in those instrumental breaks.
A man who lurched through like a saint, a mouth that tumbled half awake, a feeling I still conjure now. In my dreams I still see you around. When you're left alone, you can muddy up the path, and the heart needs a crutch. If you dare to lose
Yeah, this is not the kind of album you want to listen to if you're in a rush somewhere or if you're looking for something to bang your head to for a couple of minutes. This is more one of those individual vibe, individual atmosphere kind of things where like you really just need to sit there and set aside an hour and really just absorb it. I don't think there's an issue with that at all. I think that for Eric Terino, he's created an album that people genuinely need to pay attention to. You can't passively absorb it. You really can get lost in the harmonies and the instrumentation and everything like that. But at the end of the day, the story is just as meaningful, and it's almost like it's sucked into his world. It's phenomenal. I'm having a great time with it. It's just a very gradual pace to it, and I kind of enjoy that. Talking about the heart needing a crutch if you look back and muddy it.
Maybe tonight I will survive the storm my heart moves through. If only
A theremin in the background, that's a nice touch.
myself the way I once loved you.
Sensational. I really hope that he did survive the storm that the heart went through. I really do. It sounds like a really complete track. It's a snowfall at dusk, kind of the emotions hitting you when the sun goes down, right? And trying to get through the night with you battling your own head. It's a gritty time, man. The vocals are coming through so clearly. The production is sensational. It's not just the mixing, mastering, or the recording quality. You can hear him being so gentle with the microphone. You can hear his breath and the little but the sibilance has been taken care of. It's impressive. I gotta say, man, really great first impression, Eric Terino. I assume I haven't listened to him before. His name does ring a bell though, but this is my first time listening through this album, obviously. We got Invocations, track number 4. Oh, this is a lot more. This is very pretty. You got an interesting tone to that piano along with the strings. It's almost like you've taken the mic a wee way away from the piano studio and get the really bright resonances of the key hits.
Invocations of dormant empathy, resurrect the joy you sowed in me. The papers all read.
I like this major tonality that we have. It's quite a contrast, especially the Felt and Torch of the Dead, and even a Snowfall at Dusk. It's showing the versatility of this musician here, like I'm not quite sure the full plot of it, but it just sounds so loving. I don't know if I'm off or if I've got it right.
That you fell asleep in death.
Oh, okay. Alright, we'll hear this out.
But these assemblies in my head belie their every sentiment, with a fervent desire I built your house by the sea.
That sounds nice, doesn't it? Building a house by the sea.
With walls of glass
That doesn't sound so nice.
and a roof of masonry. Innovations of grave perversity.
There we go, there's the album title.
Summon all the hope that's left in me.
It sounds like we're listening to a painting. I don't know if that makes any sense at all. Just the imagery there with the... Because he's not singing a lot of words, you know, like... These are less than half a dozen word stanzas at a time, or lines at a time. And it's just enough. Like the imagery with the glass walls and the roof of masonry. It's almost like we're singing a poem. Do you know what I mean? I'm really enjoying my time with this. It's just so vibrant and well performed.
Caving of my chest,
Although this is obviously a little bit darker, isn't it?
once a heaving hearth of flesh,
Oh,
mantled by abandoned debts, governs over every breath with a fervent desire. I built your house by the sea, with walls of glass and a roof of masonry.
we haven't really gone down to his lower vocal range that much, have we? We're kind of sat in that upper level. That's creepy. I don't know if I like that. Is it full step, full step? Is that what's being said there?
Interpolations of honeyed memories.
Like, it's a cool idea. I'm kind of being taken away from the main vocal line, though. Is that because it's already assumed that we've heard that vocal line at the start before?
Gather all the lives he left with me.
Oh, a nice resounding resonant harmony to finish there. Very pretty. Kind of sounds like the ghosts going around your head, right? Going. I'm not quite sure what was being said on those sides. I was paying attention to it, but I have to admit the first half of this album is sensational. With no real complaints about any of it. Again, it's very different to what I usually listen to, and even to what I review on a common basis. But it's great to have my palette expanded. Yeah, we've got Boulder, track number 5.
Still a boulder, never set off rolling, trembling and free.
Oh, before we go further, Invocations, I couldn't really figure that one out. I remember the heart hollowed out, so I'm assuming that he might have been trying to give as much as he could for someone else, even at the expense of his own life, just to be able to make that dream a reality or something else, but I'm not quite sure. Pretty song nonetheless. Trumpet?
Chiseled out to see how smooth and wise I could have been.
Nice call and response there.
If I chased security in the face of scored immortality.
Is that a double bass? I think it's a double bass, isn't it?
Would I fear the fall of time to find my gilded place among the heap? Ghosts surround me, they're draped from every branch on every tree.
Again, we have such minimal, a minimal selection of different elements within this mix. We have some woodwinds or some strings on the right side. We have the trumpet or the cornet on that side. We have the double bass having a sense of lower end resonance and percussive nature in the middle. And then we just have the vocals. So it forces you to really pay attention to the lyrics and what Eric is telling you. And this imagery of ghosts draped on every branch of every tree is surreal, you know. It's really effective.
To lay my weary body out with them constantly. Dereliction hovers threateningly over almost everything. If I cleared myself of doubt, would I be rid of this wordless ennui? Ropes bind me to this old house that you left long ago.
So we're talking about being a boulder. I assume it's someone who is immovable, unwilling, or either unwilling or unable to relocate from where they're at, heavy, and almost like it's too difficult to make that transition, you know?
If I root into its soil, will I grow cold, childless, and alone? I've struggled to trust in the bouts of glorious conviviality.
Well, I don't understand how you could be convivial about this, to be fair. Doesn't sound like the situation.
Faith in disbelief, 'cause I've learned things are never what they seem. I'm never leaving this damn house. 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 I'm never leaving this damn house.
Spoken like a true boulder. The boulder is defiant. It does not want to move. He is not leaving the house. You have the instruments kind of there as a background for him to exclaim proudly, or And another way, I'm not quite sure. I don't think he's necessarily proud of the situation. It's just a sense of defiance, you know. Or maybe he's kind of screaming out that he can't leave this damn house, or that he won't. Maybe he feels trapped and he will never be able to get out of there. You know, it's interesting. I guess it's up to the listener to really dictate that, although I'm sure there's enough nuance that I've potentially missed within the track's lyrics to be able to ascertain the true meaning behind it. Boulder is another solid track from Eric Terino, man. 5 for 5. By the way, I think Jolie Holland might be just involved with this track. I think maybe earlier I said that I thought she was involved with other ones. It might have been off of other songs that Eric Terino's done from other pieces, but yeah. I know Jolie Holland is on this one, I think, as I understand it. An augury of hope. These jingly bells. With the ghost of wolf. It's spooky. Really bringing those ghosts in, man. This is some of the most authentic ghost sounds I've heard in quite a while. Great instrumental work here. That was fun. I enjoyed that. I'm not sure if I was meant to enjoy it, but I did.
In my youth I may have sworn on the resistance of my hand, but the veil of age shifts back to show I could be loved again.
Cool. This is pretty. I didn't want to interrupt either, because I haven't spoken as much as I usually would during these reviews. Usually I'm a bit more kind of, let's pause here and talk about this. But I've done that for multiple reasons. One, I wanted to let Eric Terino speak and sing. And I wanted to let the music I wanted to do it like section by section. You know what I mean? So there's more time spent actually listening to the music. And then I can summarize stuff more, I suppose, eloquently, if that is applicable in this situation. But also because I think that because these different sections are longer in this track, and there's not a whole lot of really frenetic change at any points, aside from the brief sort of melodic extensions we've had at some points, or the occasional inclusions of interesting instruments that come and go. You know, they're longer form sections, you know, they're 30 seconds to a minute as opposed to like 10 to 15 seconds. And I just didn't feel the need to interrupt those. But I'm liking those arpeggios here.
And it's a long, long way from a fire escape in the neon soaked light of the halcyon days to the solemn amber glow dressing these evening fields that find me wandering still.
Couldn't really pause until this point. There was constant action going on with those strings on both sides of the vocals and the plucks going on with the harp or the other stringed instruments. Clever stuff. Clever stuff. Going back in the theremin, I suppose.
After every drift climbs
Nice instrumental break.
that's when I must lay down my arms to honor every step I've known that led me safely through these long, long way from a fire escape in the neon-soaked light of the halcyon days to the solemn amber glow dressing these evening fields that find me wandering still.
So is the implication that he got away from the city to try and find peace out in the open, and he's still wandering to try and find a home? Kind of talking about his journey, wondering if he will find a better place to exist.
With a glint of faith in an inchoate stage, the persistence of those alleged halcyon days spare a final thought to me just before I go. They say one day I'll tell you what I know.
Having harmonized theremins was maybe a bit too much for me personally. It sounded very, very, very busy within this track, especially in those choruses, because effectively we had, I don't know how many different melodic elements we had. You know, I think we had the strings going ba 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 ba, and then we had like 2 different theremins, and then we had the vocals. There was quite a lot to pay attention to, and it was you know, it felt like a lot. I don't necessarily know if that's even a criticism. Maybe that's what Eric Terino was going for here. Luckily the vocals are produced well, so they sat really well in the mix and came through clearly. But yeah, I guess I've gotten so much more used to the other stuff that Eric Terino's done throughout this album, where it's been a little bit less busy, like bolder before, where this one was a contrast and it was a little bit sharp for me, but that's okay. Yeah, I'm not really sure why we have the theremin either. Are we talking about the ghosts trying to tell Eric stuff? Is that meant to be surrounding him, like hiding the secrets from him? I'm not quite sure, but it's okay. That was an augury of hope. We have Body Gets Stoned, track number 7. Let me just confirm something real quick. No, it's okay, guys. I figured it out. So basically, this is... Apparently, Jolie also does violin. So Jolie has actually been involved as a violinist. So she's probably done some violin throughout this album. I think Jolie does have vocals in this track, but I think she's also done some of the violin parts throughout this album. So that makes sense now. Cool. We've established that. That's clarified. Awesome. Cool. We got there in the end, everyone.
My father said, son of my word, take heed. They'll try to confuse and they'll try to deceive. Here's what you must do, you must let them conceive. Let all of the foolish things be as foolish as they need.
Oh, got the trumpet and the bass. Hey, there we go. Body Gets Stoned.
On top of a hill stood one silent star, screaming for the light, but damned to the dark. He flew to torment like a baby on her mane, like the curse in his eyes, like a god without a name. Everybody gets stoned and everyone is dethroned. Now they've left us all alone, so let's all just get stoned.
Everybody gets stoned, like a god without a name. Interesting. Yeah, nobody's infallible, nobody is invincible. It's interesting. I'm liking the harmonies we have there occasionally from Jolie and Eric. I'm really glad that I read through, because I read through all this stuff beforehand to try and understand the album and the musicians better. I'm really glad I clarified that Jolie did some violin in this as well.
Father said, son, he'll use your whole to breed. You must scorn the condemned before the worth conquering.
I know that we've got some other instruments like guitars and trumpets and everything like that in here as well. I'm liking the auspicious absence of a drum kit as well. We haven't had any drums and it's been kind of refreshing, eh?
Let's let all of the wretched things succeed. The filth in his gut, the curse in his seed. Everybody gets stoned and everyone is dethroned. Now they left us all alone, so let's all just get stoned.
Beautiful outro there.
My son, he won't harm. He shall never thank greed, for I shall turn round and never have peace.
I shall turn around and never have peace. Is that right? Oof. Man, it really just kind of reminds you of the limitations of your own existence, doesn't it?
Get stoned and everyone is dethroned. Now we have no place to go, so let's all just get stoned. Everybody get stoned. Everybody get stoned. Everybody get stoned. Everyone is stoned.
Nice resolution at the end. This is probably my favorite, to be honest. I think this was a good choice for this single for the album. Because it not only facilitates Eric's abilities as a singer-songwriter, but his ability to collaborate with other musicians as well. Like, it is apparent throughout this. But Jolie and Eric did fantastically together. I now understand why we did have that haunting sound to the violins before. That's Jolie's work, as I understand it. You know, I have to double check. Yeah, definitely. It's all good. Body Gets Stoned, great single, between that 2 to 4 minute mark, which is fantastic for that single in this day and age. Great way to introduce a musician. Sensational effort all around, no real complaints about that one. Very different groove to the previous tracks we've had that sort of Americana kind of vibe to it. But well done to Eric Terino and Jolie for that. We got one more track though, I Didn't Live There. Actually, before we get into I Didn't Live There, just one more thing about Everybody Gets Stoned or Body Gets Stoned. I think that it's a great way to handle such an intense topic is to kind of lighten it up with some gentler, softer instruments. I think that if maybe we'd had some like heavier guitars or drums or something like that, it just would have been a bit too on the nose. There was a bit more nuance to these performances through these orchestral instruments. I just also think this is more Eric's style, to be real, and that's fine. Yeah, we'll continue with I Didn't Live There. Finale for this review today. I've had a really good time with it. Really good time with it. It's been a lot to take in, but I've enjoyed it, you know? Thematically and, you know, it's
I cast my mind back to a cornfield in South Bend, Indiana. I realize now that every day blossomed glory or disaster. I was ripe with devotion then. Fireflies hung in our eyes. We were 700 miles from home, sloughing off cigarettes and pride.
That's beautiful. It sounds it's just I didn't wake up too long ago. I'm doing this in the morning, and it's a nice. This kind of reminds me of waking up in the morning with the sunrise, and I instinctively just kind of You know, because the imagery is so strong when you listen to the lyrics. It's such great storytelling.
I was only passing through, could have landed anywhere. Yes, I stayed a year or two, but I didn't live there. On the edge of spring, we said.
I like this. Because my understanding is that this album is about the transitions from like winter to spring, like going from the darkness of the colder months to the regrowth and new beginnings that come with the yeah, with again with spring. I don't know where I was going with that, but you can hear how it gets a bit more sunny at this part of the album. I think that's fantastic. You know.
Top in Manhattan, weary from traveling. The soles of our feet were scored and blackened. I was soft with elation then. He was draped across my mind. We drift down sidewalks at 3 a.m. Soaked in bourbon and moonlight.
Such pad live vocals, man. I'm loving the layering of them, the textures there. They sync so well together. That's not only testament to the production, you know, the recording, mixing, mastering, but it's also testament to the skill involved with you know, like segmenting those different vocal lines and melodies and getting them to work together.
I was only passing through, could have landed anywhere. Yes, I stayed a month or two, but I didn't live there. The blood of time is on my hands.
The blood of time is on my hands. That's a hell of a dark line for all these really high end, because sort of springy, jumpy, happy, not jumpy, but like happy, vibrant woodwind and string parts. Pizzicato, bop, 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 bop.
Through great vignettes, dissonance can drown these revelations now. Evocations of the past are roped to what wouldn't last. I was only passing through.
Going back to the I was only passing through part, talking about the augury of hope with the journey that we were having. I guess this is the conclusion to that as the conclusion of the album.
Yes, I stayed a week or two, but I didn't live there. I've never been as bold as I was with him under that line of river lights. I slipped my hand under his sweater and sighed a slow and sad goodnight.
Oh, that's rough. That vulnerability there, like admitting that, like This guy's been through a lot, hasn't he? He's been through a lot.
I could never feel so sad again, and it could never feel so right. I could never feel like that again. Youth twists fear into delight. I was only passing through. Could have landed anywhere. Yes, I stayed a day or two, but I didn't live there. I'm only sorting through these shards of memory to share.
Oh, all right.
I really must be going soon. You know I never lived there.
Stunning. That urgency there, sorting through the memories, it uplifts you, but it also makes it sound like you don't have a lot of time remaining.
Other people live in our apartments now. They've rearranged our walls and trampled hallowed grounds.
And other people are going through what you're going through now, but you didn't live there, you've come and gone. Damn, dude. Damn, that was a good album. Excuse the... No, I don't think I've sworn in this review. I mean, I obviously haven't been meaning to do that. That wouldn't have been appropriate. That was Innovations of Grave Perversity by Eric Terino. Wow. Bravo. I don't usually clap after an album, but I feel like I should. I should do that. That was sensational. You know, it's not often I finish an album feeling the way I do at the moment. I started this with Felt, Torture the Dead. I Snore for the Dusk. Especially those first two, I was like, oh no, this is going to be a brutal, kind of visceral, really sad record, isn't it? Even though I'd sort of, you know, like, and I try to keep an open mind about it. It was like, oh no, where are we going with this, right? You know, eight songs of that would have been fine, but it just would have been a brutal listen, you know. And there are albums I've listened to like that never got thematically or topically more positive, and that's fine. You know, music again does not need to cater to the listener. It's an expression. It doesn't need to necessarily cater to the listener. It's the artist or artiste's kind of expression of themselves, and it's putting themselves on an oral palette. But we have Innovations of Grave Perversity by Eric Terino, and it got a little more pretty, like not necessarily more pretty, but it got a little bit more, I wouldn't even say upbeat. At most it became bittersweet. It never became truly hopeful. Even Body Gets Stoned, I Didn't Live There, an augury of hope. You know, Boulders and Invocations and Snowfall were more sort of like the transitional stage. But I think the most we get out of I Didn't Live There, because this is of course the conclusion, by the way. Just this is the conclusion. And the most you get is, we're not there anymore, so that's good, we had our time, and I didn't live there, we were just there for a day or two, we experienced that. And we've learned from it and we're moving on. It was a well-structured album in regards to the track list. I think the story was told chronologically as you went through, and I love it when albums are done like that. It always is such a shame to me when I can't figure out why tracks were done in the order they were, or why those tracks were put together. Excellent effort. As a concept album, I think I can only imagine that it represents Eric Terino's journey really, really well, or like a story that he wanted to tell at the very least. His vocal performances throughout were sensational. He relied on that softness, that higher range there, occasionally delving into the lower octaves. Showed great vocal technique. Ornamentation at times was good. Legato, some chromatic runs as well. And just, got no complaints about the vocals, and Jolie Holland's ones and Body Gets Stoned were fantastic as well. Matched the mood and harmonized really, really well with Eric. And a great different texture to it. It was nice to have the low range in Eric's vocals additionally, only sometimes I think that having that higher kind of go at it made the tracks sort of sync together a bit better because you knew what to expect each time and they had a different, similar coloration to them. But yeah, it was good. When there was change, it was welcome, it was fresh, and it was, I suppose, what we needed. The instrumental performances as well were just utterly sensational. The quality of the performances as well. Again, we had an absence of a drum kit. We had mostly sort of string parts, some woodwind, some brass elements. We had some guitar occasionally, I think, and everybody gets stoned or body gets stoned. And then these are all instruments that worked well with the vocals. We had different melodies combining to make those extended harmonies. But while we had different voicings and different potentially counter melodies going on, I think it worked for the most part. Again, I still wasn't totally convinced by the twin theremin parts in Augury Hope. But aside from that, I think that the choice to have different voicings, different instruments, create an overall extended overall harmony was a smart move. And it was nice segmenting as a different frequency, fourth harmonies, like the high, mids, and lows and stuff like that. I know that fourth harmonies isn't 3. You have the soprano, alto ranges and stuff like that. It's all good. But yeah, it's great. The structure of the tracks, that was sort of more through composed as I understand it. Really should do the structure after the story, shouldn't I? Yeah. I can't change that now. I'm in the middle of doing the conclusion. I'll do that for future ones. The structuring, we had verse, choruses, instrumental breaks, and bridges. So there were more contemporary sort of devices used. Some of them were more through composed though, like I Didn't Live There. I'm going back to I just landed there traveling through. We returned to lines like that. And, these tracks were between 3 and 7 minutes, with 6 minutes 50 being the longest. But I think that the length of the range, the tracks in the album was justified. We needed that long to tell the stories. None of the tracks became boring or superfluous. And I think finally the production, recording, mixing, and mastering, the recordings of the different instruments and vocal parts were flawless. There was nice dynamic range within the album itself, which worked well with the orchestral, classical themes. What else did it? Yeah. I think the tracks are more raw than what I'm used to. There wasn't a whole lot of modulation or anything in terms of the effects change on them. I think there would have been some EQing just to help them stack better in the frequency spectrum, and the panning instruments was done really well in the stereo field, especially that bit I think in Vacations where they're on the side. Even though I didn't necessarily like having the vocals on the extreme left and right, it was a fun thing to do and it's different. And yeah, the limited compression. The trucks are nice and loud without pumping, and it was a very professional, commercial sounding record. And I really hope that Eric Terino can find success with his existing audience and beyond it. Wish him the best of luck in future. Well done. That was effectively my review, though, of Eric Terino's Innovations of Grave Perversity. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show Eric Terino some love via his various social medias and Spotify page. Stay cool and stay safe, and please also remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.